Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to the man them.
To the man. Listen, to the fathers.
To the father them.
To the grandfathers.
Come on.
To the soon-to-be fathers. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
To the uncle supporting.
To the uncle supporting.
Brother supporting.
Fam, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, man. Happy Father's Day.
Because if we don't say it, no one will say it to us.
Get the violins out.
Get the violins out. I know, happy Father's Day, man. Honestly. I hope, listen, I hope people are getting taken out today, you know, treated in these things. Not that it's like, it's
just another day.
Just another day. I hope people are getting treated, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Nice things. But yeah, man.
Let's get into some testimonies. So every week we like to...
Sorry. You say that because I'm happy to say it.
Yeah.
It's
like... I hate Vib.
It's just the way I speak.
He hates that excitement.
It's just the way I speak. We just testimony, guys. Like, it's just...
No, it doesn't have to be one extreme to the other.
Testimony time.
I'm just going to say it the way I say it.
Time. Do you know what I mean?
I'm just going to say it the way I say it.
LGI.
Is that right?
It's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine.
You want to say it?
Oh, no.
You want to say it?
No, bro.
Yeah, then just...
You got it.
Let me see it.
Suggestion? Sorry,
you got it.
I
can't, because it was saying it. I thought we
did it.
You did it. It's live, bro. You did it, innit? You did it. What is it? You did it. You said it. What is it? Is it? What is it? Is it, bro? Say it. Say it, bro. No. Pause this for right now.
So say it.
But yeah, we like to get into testimonies, man, because testimonies encourage faith, and just to shine a light on what God is doing in our lives and just show everybody that God is still actively working at every point in time, all the time, man. So yeah, man, let's go first.
I'll do a testimony just based on milestones. Just reached another milestone more recently that I'm really grateful for. Yeah, man. Celebrating life, really.
Yeah.
It's my testimony.
No.
God. Thank God.
What's my testimony? Actually, yeah. I remember just cheek was wedding, isn't it? But
you know what, yeah? I was actually going to say the wedding thing. Yeah, that's actually jokes as well. Did the laugh thing.
Yeah, I know, because the last time still it was in like you did the vote, the wedding vote, everything. But listen, you need.
But that's what's happening, though, isn't it? That's what's going on.
You need bare grace in the period.
Yeah,
in general.
Yeah.
But just in terms of like, it made me. So it's not even about the wedding per se, but basically, when you're looking at like, I was looking at the trad. And I was looking at the like people potentially about inviting, but most I was looking at like just people who have been in my life for time. And I was thinking, fam, there are bare people who have been there from like adults from I was born to like even my brethrens. Like I remember they done the 10-year challenge on Instagram and they were like, oh, take a picture of your brethrens you've known for 10 years. I was like, fam, I can't. There's too many.
Yeah, it's basically everyone.
Yeah.
It's basically, you get me? It's too many from even people.
Even the uni ones as well, yeah.
Bro.
10 years, yeah.
Exactly. Even from people who bring on the pod.
Crazy.
People bring on the pod more time. We've known them for years.
For a minute.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? And it was just like a gratefulness. I was like, nah, man, God, you know what? Like, thank you for that, man. That, you know, I've been surrounded by good people and people who care. So yeah, man. I think that's my testimony. It's just a big realization.
Yeah.
And I feel like, just for anyone listening, never forget to thank God for those things. And I think when you give thanks for things, it's a reminder to you as well to cherish these things. You know what I'm trying to say? So, man, thank God for that.
No word.
My thing, we were speaking about this the other day actually. So my thing is about kind of like hearing from God around like a particular like period, innit? Which I always talk about me and my missus doing checkups or check-ins. And the other day she asked me, she was like, oh, bro, like, are you under pressure, innit? And like I answered...
That was a good...
oh, yeah, no. It was still... Like I answered, I was like, no, I'm not, you know. And I didn't answer like that because I was lying to her or whatever. But in that moment when she asked that question, I just didn't really... You know, I just didn't really feel it, innit? And then when I went home, I just started thinking about it. Because you know that, there's bare times like you don't think about certain things until you're asked certain questions, innit? So I really started thinking about it. And not that I was under any mad pressure or anything like that, but I just started to realise just like where I'm at in my life and like the next stages in life, innit? And just that there's a lot that comes with it. You know, the whole, being a man and all of that sort of stuff, innit? But more so from the perspective of, like, I need to really turn into, like, another version of myself, innit? Because of what's next in life, innit? So, like, if I'm diligent now, I need to be even more diligent. If I'm prayerful, I need to be even more prayerful. If I am ambitious, I need to be even more ambitious, because, like, this is just where it's at, innit? Like, I needed to turn into another version of myself, innit? And just kind of, like, going over those thoughts and stuff like that. And I remember I even having a conversation with, I bucked up with one of my brothers for lunch, innit? And then again, we're just talking about the whole idea of manhood and stuff like that, and being a husband and all of these things, innit? And just, like, you need to have the answer to certain questions, innit? Like, you're going to be looked to in certain instances because that's what your role is, innit? And you can't just be faffing about. And you can't just be like, And obviously, we understand that there is, like, you might not have everything set in place in the way that you want it to be, and obviously there's a grace there, but then there's also a responsibility on you to do all that you can to make sure that things are a certain way, innit? So these are just the things that were going through my head. And then when we were talking about it, one of the men was like, the buck stops with you, innit? And then I thought, I can't remember who said it, which one of you said it, and then it was like, so it stops with you and then you give it to God. And I didn't hear, so that even hearing that again was like another sort of thing that I heard from God, innit? But after I'd had those thoughts in my head, I literally woke up in the morning and the first thing on my mind was just about, like, faith, innit? And just having the faith and just having the faith to give it to God and let go of it, innit? Like, it's not something that you're supposed to hold on to, but it's something that you take it on, you do all that you can, but you're also giving it to God as well, innit? You know, when the whole, like, you want him to be a leader and stuff like that, being a leader is also submitting to God. You get what I mean? Like, where are you getting your leadership stuff from, if you want to say it like that, innit? And it's supposed to be to God. So yeah, just hearing that around that period, around those thoughts, and that was like, like, it gave me like a proper peace, if you get what I mean, innit? So yeah, man, thank God for that.
No, sick.
Thank God.
Sick still. Even the whole question and asking, I feel like as well, because someone may listen and be like, you know what, they want to ask their man those kind of questions as well.
Listen, everyone just cut your clothes according to the
Listen,
I'll relationship not might not be there yet. Do you know what I mean? Guys say, are you under pressure? Hell, what do you know about pressure?
How funny you start thinking that. You know that thing when they start unpacking bare things now.
Oh, nah, man. Why you always asking me these questions, man? You know the people that ask their questions too much.
That's so crazy, man. Someone come into trying to
lighten the load.
Hey. But I think also you gotta make sure, like, or try one's best to set the atmosphere.
Set the tone, exactly. Yeah.
Not that, like, I'm annoyed at something that you start saying, oh, man, you, fam.
You're under pressure.
You're under pressure. Fam, yeah,
fam. I'm not under pressure, you're just pissing me off. So now
you gotta make sure the atmosphere is sick for that as well.
Yeah, for real.
Nah, it's good though, man.
No, it's still
excellent, man. So obviously it's Father's Day. Nothing.
Is it excellent, man?
You know, so funny. That's how that work, you know. That's how that work.
Bro, I said you lot on the call at work. I was like, you lot.
Fam, you say
It
that.
was bad,
you say
though.
that when you're on the
Nah,
phone.
man, it was bad still. This one, it was bad still. Because this one wasn't with, like, my actual people, if you know what I mean. My, like, it wasn't with my people. I was like, you lot were talking about. I was like, crap. See, that's what you lot. I was like, right.
What? I remember one of the directors said something one time that I was thinking, because you said this, is it slang or not? You know, there's certain words that we use in slang.
Okay, that's not actually slang.
It's not actually
But
slang.
the thing is, as soon as it comes out of your black mouth,
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? It has a different.
What is it? It's your black
Do you know what I mean? Though it's received differently straight away, bro. They can say, bro, they can say yo. They can say yo.
Fam, I'll put it on, fam. One you, I work, bro. Imagine. Let's just chatting. He's done something before. Fam, you know what it is? But, fam, bro, no, me at work, I said, hey. Man's replied to me, what, go on.
It's jokes because he even said hey. Because hey is just like, you're not going to say hey. Man said, what, go on.
Fam, listen. I feel you want. This is about work life, bro. Fam, I just sat there. Yeah, I just thought it's a tough job market right now. So, but bro,
So,
I was, bro. But anyway.
I think you should respond and be like, oh, what's going on? What does that mean?
What do you mean, mate?
Bro,
We send you on video, bro.
They said him Wablo.
Well, blue.
Wablo, so old school.
Actually, Dickie.
Hey, yo.
You know, remind me, when they used to say, boo.
So what?
Nah, don't even say sorry what.
I know what you're saying.
Don't even say sorry
I know
what,
what
fam.
you're saying.
Because I remember when we was doing it in Wales and they were like, basically, oh, we're
I didn't
booing
do
them. Yes, you flipping did.
No, I
We
didn't.
all did.
No, I didn't.
I
didn't do that.
don't
still.
know.
What was it?
Guys,
You didn't do it.
What's it?
hey, boo. Hey, that's his funny still. But it was a thing though. It was a thing.
Absolutely.
It was a thing. It was a thing. Alright, man. Cool. So, obviously, it's Father's Day. Again, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day
Father's
to the
Day,
fathers,
man.
them.
Do you get me?
So,
So,
DJ, what did that for the birthday cake?
listen, what we're going to do is we're going to ask each other a set of questions about Father's Day, fatherhood, being a father, etc. Yeah. Now, we haven't shown each other these questions. No one knows what we're going to ask each other, but we're just going to, ask each other the questions.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not being prepared, by the way.
The question is, man, we're going to plead the fifth.
Not pleading nothing. But, so we're going to go, and who should we start with?
How you saying that?
Who should we start with?
Calm down, fam.
What's that? Close your ring.
No, it is. Sorry about that. Basically, I got the walk-in thing at home now, innit?
Starting this thing again.
Is it?
What?
Sure enough.
Oh, actually.
Oh,
I just
the
checked my
Apple
ring,
Watch.
innit? 10K steps, innit?
I'm gonna get one. I've been fighting.
I'm missing
getting
go from
one,
you still.
I've been trying to get one for a minute, but every single time I'm about to purchase it, because remember I've got one already, but it's packed up.
Oh,
So,
do you?
Yeah, I've
Oh,
been had
so-
one. I had one, the first generation kind of one.
No, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Apple Watch.
What are you talking about?
Apple Watch.
Oh, fair enough. I thought you meant the walking thing.
Apple Watch. All right, mate. But yeah, but every time I wanted to buy it, it's just that, fam, this is not my priority.
Yeah, it's actually not.
yeah.
It's actually not. I only got it because of work, basically. So if not, I wouldn't got it.
What do you mean because of what?
There was a benefit in it, vitality. So if you get
Oh,
Apple
yeah,
Watch
yeah,
and
I
you
thought you-
walk a certain amount of steps, then you don't have to pay for it.
Mm.
Basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to, man. Don't know. But yeah,
Sorry about that.
who should we start with? Start
Sorry
with you,
about
man.
Go on.
Start with you, man, yeah.
Go on.
Do you want to start with me, Hend?
Sir?
Do you want to start with me? Questions.
No, you can stop, mate.
All right, cheers, man. I appreciate it. Anyway,
No, you tell me.
right. You, man. Why are you... I've got...
Hey.
Is it Sodo Bay defender?
This is the...
No, there's one I need to show you still.
What?
I need to find it. I need to show you still. There's a video, so I need to show you still. I need to show you that video, so it's funny.
Hey, what's it? Ugandan or Zimbabwean parliament thing is...
With the lady,
The lady.
What did she say? Everybody's had sex or something
They
like
talk about sex. She was like, everybody's had sex. Me, I've had sex. I've had sex. It's just...
that. Why are you talking about
should not
that?
be you shouldn't be talking
In
about this
Parliament.
in an official place.
Brother,
In Parliament, bro.
bro, in Parliament.
Is that, trust me, that's her brand. She's known for that outrageous things. But cool. All right. First question. What did you or what do you look forward to more out of being married or being a father?
Bro, man. Gotta get man caught up.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a trick question, isn't it?
No. So, or did. Do you get me? Things change. What did you?
I think being married, but I think just more so because listen, there's both here, but for the sake of the question, isn't it? It's more so in my hands in a way. You get what I mean? I think like children and stuff like that is obviously it will happen by God's grace, but it's less in my hands and in my control. You know what I mean? I can decide when, all right, cool, I want to get married now. And then, you know what I mean? So just because it's less in my control, I'd say probably marriage still,
Okay. Calm.
but both.
That's it, both.
Come on, all your questions like that?
What do you mean?
As in like both things are like.
No, that's the only
Okay.
both things.
Okay, cool.
Everything all right? Yeah. This guy's about to crash out.
Cool. Next question. Has your view of fatherhood changed over time, and if so, how?
No, I wouldn't say it's changed, but it's been nice seeing the man them be dads. You get what I mean? So seeing it play out amongst our generation. You know what I mean? Because obviously beforehand, everything would be our parents' generation, but now a lot of the men them have children in it. So seeing them with their children and the way they interact and stuff like that is it's nice to see still. I think a lot of what I've noticed as well is that, and this is with both the man them and their missus, when it comes to dealing with their children, yeah, they have a lot of time for them, innit? In terms of like, when they want to, like they proper listen to them, basically. They proper listen to them and they proper take their time to communicate with them, innit? So say something like, okay, like what's wrong, innit? Like, okay, this is wrong. Okay, you know, but they proper have time for them to like explain and to actually listen, innit? And that's something that I've seen across all of my brethren who have children that I've been around and seen them with their children. So it's nice to see, innit? It hasn't changed my view or anything like that, but it's been nice seeing like the man them with their children. You get what I mean? Because it's a different dynamic, innit? And it's made it like raw, like I want it kind of thing.
I hear it still. It's funny because one question I had after that, but it's kind of similar, but it's that, what was your view of fathers growing up?
I think my views probably just came from what I saw on the TV and that, you know? Because I think we were speaking about this not too long ago because of the play and that, innit? There's a lot of day-to-day stuff that that I missed out on, innit? I think there's a lot of nuance in the day-to-days of like fatherhood dynamics within the house, within the relationship between mum and dad and stuff like that. That obviously I didn't see because I didn't have that growing up, innit? Because everything else that I did see was just obviously on the TV and then what I saw through like the men that are in my lives, innit? But those are the things that are like, you don't really see. You don't really see much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, yeah, they're together. I know they live together. I know he's like, you get me? You don't really get a deep dive, and it's very much in the day to day that the small little things kind of. Do you get what I mean? What was the question again?
What was your view of fathers growing up?
Okay, yeah. So it was kind of like, I guess it was just like the general. Okay, a dad is supposed to be there to provide. Okay, a dad is like the enforcer, kind of like the strict one or whatever. Yeah, that's it really. That's it pretty much still.
That's a good answer because it's true, you don't really see, well, for a lot of people, you don't see inside their houses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? You might see them out to church on the Sunday or see them out or family functions and these things, but you don't
see the inside.
Do you get me? And I guess, yeah, I hear it.
Like, think about, so for example, like this isn't to do with father, but this is just like a in the house thing, yeah. So for example, me and my sister, yeah, when we have conversations, a lot of the time they're from doors. So like her room is like further down the corridor. So I might have a conversation with my sister from my door to her door. And we might be there for like half an hour having a conversation. Or I might go into her room, but I'm at the door and we have the conversation like that. That's just a little thing that is like, because of our relationship, that's a dynamic that we now have in it. You get what I mean? And you don't see that because you don't live with me. But my mum knows that because my mum lives with me. You get? So in like a husband, wife, dad to children, there's surely some of those little things that I just don't know of, innit?
Yeah. No, I hear it still. No, it's a good answer. Okay, next question. Are there any things that you will definitely implement as a father? So like, do you know there's certain things that people like have just always thought about? Like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna do this when I become a father. Is there anything like that for you that you said, I'm definitely gonna implement this thing?
I guess what I'm definitely going to do is like, you know, in terms of when I see that there's an interest in something, like I'm definitely going to want to water those seeds. And that's one of the things that I look forward to in fatherhood, innit? So there being something that I'm able to see in my children that, okay, she has an interest in this, he has an interest in this, and investing in that in whatever way, if it means taking them somewhere, pointing them in the right direction, speaking to whoever, and then seeing the fruits of that. You know what I mean? So say for example, like they are into singing or something like that. And then I just see them growing that, and then they become a worship leader or something like that, and then they lead a worship night or something, and I'm there.
Yeah.
But because I've seen the fruits and we've worked towards it, you know what I mean, just seeing the reward of that, and I look forward to that still. So I think in terms of implementing what I see that they have interest in, I really, really want to water it, and that's what I've had in it. You know what I mean? From like my mum and my auntie and my family in it. That's what I've had. They've poured into what they know I'm interested in it, and I can't wait to do that for my children and see the fruits of it.
It's sick still. It's sick still. Calm. Excellent. Sorry guys, we're going through the questions because there's bare different questions.
Yeah, there's bare still.
I know, asking a better question I was going to ask.
That's what on.
I had one about how did you imagine your father's daily life and responsibilities? Because you know what it is as well, I feel like a lot of the time, when you think about being a father, what do we actually think about people are going to be doing on a day-to-day? You know, normally when you think about your future and that, you think about things from a perspective of, I'm going to be working this job, and you might get a snapshot of one day when you're thinking about it, where you're thinking, you're sad.
You know, so funny.
Desk or something.
I remember, someone said, it wasn't this exact question, and it was a bit different of a question, but the answer was similar, and they were like, fam, one thing that they always saw growing up here, they didn't live with their dad, but their uncles here was like, it was so specific, but like the aunties bringing them pounded jam to eat, and they were like, it's so mad how that was like such a thing that they were like, fam, I kind of like, they're looking forward to that, innit? Pounded jam is brought, but they were like, fam, because it was such like a staple thing. You get what I'm trying to say? I was like, that is so funny.
But it's funny because those are the things that we hang on to. Do you know what I mean? And we think about, okay, cool. So when I get there, that's what's going to be happening for me. That's not a lot of people's story.
Fam, for real, still.
But so that was one of the questions I had.
No, I hear it. Okay, cool. So, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear being a father? When you think about being a father?
Responsibility and like having dependence. You know what I mean? So your wife and then your children, and then their like their care and stuff like that falling like on you. You know what I mean? So you have to be responsible for all of them, innit? And just in terms of where your child like ends up in life, the sort of man or woman they end up being, like you have a hand in that. You know what I mean? And you can steer it in certain directions. Obviously, ultimately, God does, innit? But you can also steer it within certain directions, innit? And then even within like your dynamic between your wife and your home, you set in like the tone in it. You know what I mean? And then all of you lot growing in it, and it becoming that becoming a thing, like a family thing. For example, like me and my missus were talking recently about like starting and finishing things. Like start and finish. Do you know what I mean? So like imagine that's like now our thing with our family. It's like we start and we finish. So when I have children, start and you finish. You know what I mean? And then that's just like a thing.
That can build such a class of character. It's sick still.
Yeah, so that just ultimately that responsibility in it. Even in terms of like hearing from God and being connected. Is when it, but like we were just saying before about leadership, he's the ultimate one that you need to get all of your pattern from. You get what I mean? So you need to be in tune. So that responsibility weighs extremely heavy as well. You need to be in tune. You can't just be let's do this. You need to be in tune. You get what I mean? So it's just responsibility is the first thing I think of still.
I hear it still. Good answer, man.
You do that 5 each because.
Alright, sorry, man. Next one. Let me just ask.
How many have you done now?
I've done 5.
Is this the 5th?
This is the 6th. I'll stop after there. Just want to get this one out.
You'll still get it out, isn't it? It's just after I do 5, you do 1.
Or I just finish this and you go in it.
No, you could do it. I'm just.
No, I haven't.
One thing's just a bit more logical.
No. So last question is.
It better be a good one, by the way.
Fam, listen,
If not, really back in.
I think it's a great one.
If not, really
I think
back
it's a
in.
great one. The question is the thought of fatherhood exciting to you?
Oh yeah, it is. It is for sure. It definitely is. I just imagine like picking up my child from school, then running to me and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean those sorts of moments there. And then like I said as well, just being able to see the fruits of what like we've done. Do you get what I mean? From when they were young and seeing it come to fruition later on in life. So that's something I definitely look forward to, innit? And also having like a little version of me. Do you get what I mean? And then seeing their development and stuff like that. I definitely look forward to that still. I definitely look forward to that.
What if your child was nothing like you?
No, it's a possibility.
No,
It's a possibility.
You know what's so
That'd be
funny?
crazy.
It's so again, you know, people don't understand the way we speak. So if I say it, people are gonna
Yeah.
But like, I remember one time my missus was like, "Oh, that." So basically, your boy on TV, and the way he was acting was just so funny. That he was in school, like he was acting so funny, so sneaky. She was like, "Oh, what do you do that?" If that
Can't be neat still.
your son turns out like this is
This
this guy,
like-
thinking it. And I was like, "Listen, you know what it is." I was like, honestly, I've like as long as like in him himself, he's assured, like, and he's walking in Christ, fam,
It is what it is.
happy, bro.
And he's
You know what
actually
I'm
your
saying?
son.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? He's actually your son, but he's not gonna be like that.
Yeah, it's impossible. So
This way still.
like, so
Say not in the blood.
fam. It's actually not as for even for my dad to be fam. It's just it doesn't
Yeah,
exist
it's just
that way.
that's just not in the blood still. Cool, possible.
Go possible. Calm. Alright, that's me.
Right, cool. Obviously, my questions for E-Man is obviously with the
Oh, but you turn bare solemn like he's asking questions.
nah, because it's bro, it's not a joke right now, bro. Not a joke.
You know, running your food is the illegal punch.
Bro, it's an illegal punch though. Hey, when you found out what punch it was, it's an illegal punch, innit? It's an illegal punch, bro. Hey. But yeah, no, do you know what it is? So obviously, like we have a similar experience in it where single parent household or whatever in it. So that was about 40% of the time and then not, yeah. So like with that in mind, yeah. Did you ever have like conversations with like or mum or other family members about sort of like your what a father should be basically, or do you know what I mean, or anything like that kind of shaped your understanding of like fatherhood?
Yeah, I think definitely in terms of the submitting to God thing and the responsibility of the family, like spiritually, that was something that was definitely drummed home a lot in it, and to provide for sure. Like those were the two things that, like, when I would have conversations with my mum about it, those are things that she was definitely drumming home all the time. And it's just like, you have to be in tune. You know what I mean? Because you need to hear from God regarding your family. You have to step up spiritually. You can't afford to. You know, people always talk about like surviving off of their like the prayer, your mum's prayers and stuff like that. Like I'm not gonna be here all the time. Yeah, I mean, you also now need to step up. You need to be able to hear from God. You need to be able to go into warfare for your family, and you also need to be able to say, "Yo, I think we need to fast every Tuesday because da-da-da-da," or let's go into a period of fasting about this particular thing. So yeah, back to the whole responsibility thing, and like responsibility spiritually and financially as well. You need to be able to provide. You need to be able to be in tune, like with God. Those are the two things, bro. From I couldn't even tell you, like, from as you know, I've been kind of basically from kind of as early as those conversations could have been had.
Yeah, no,
those conversations were being had still.
I feel you. How did like the role that your mum played in the family influence your thoughts on fatherhood and family dynamics?
I think it just made me. I think it's the older I get, the more I realize just how well like she did, just in terms of doing it by herself. Because by design, it should be both of you doing it together. You should be working together to be able to do it. But then having to take on both roles, it just made it like raw, like she actually really, 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 really did well in it. So her mum, my mum and my auntie, because I essentially have two mums in it. So seeing both of them, and even what we were talking about not too long ago, just about like some of the luxuries that I had like when I was younger, not because we had bare money or whatever, like I'll go on bare holidays or something.
Yeah, Girl America Bill was crazy.
Yeah, bro. Like we go on bare holidays or like I'll have bare like trainers and that. Like it's not because we had, but because they were just going extra hard, innit? So it just made me realize that like when it's time for me to have my own house, I really, really need to be there for my missus. You get what I mean? In the way that my mum didn't have like a man in the same way. You know what I mean? So I really, really need to step up and do all of those things as well, innit? And then the both of us doing those things means that the household can really like flourish. You get what I mean? So yeah.
Well, fair enough. Was there anything that you saw, let's say, other fathers doing or something like that you felt like, right, do you know what? Like, when I grow up, when I'm a dad, I want to do that. Like, or that's something I want to take and emulate in my relationship with my children or whatever.
I think things that I've heard, not like things that I've seen. So like these are little things as well, by the way. So like I remember talking to someone and they were like how every Sunday they used to go to, was it Nando's or something like that? But like, you know, like little family traditions basically, innit? And them being implemented by dad basically, innit? And those are the things that when you get older, speaking on children and stuff like that as well, that you really remember, innit? Those are like the nostalgic moments you think about. And then you have a lot of sentiment attached to certain things because of, you get what I mean, what you used to do when you were younger and that, innit? So I think a lot of, what was the question again actually? Sorry.
Basically, was there anything that you saw like other
someone doing that I wanted to implement? Like, yeah. So yeah, those sorts of like traditions and things like that within the household, innit? And I think what they look like would be different, but just setting those sorts of things still. Yeah, man.
Fair enough. Let me see what questions I've got. How many have I asked?
3?
3,
yeah, 3.
Oh, cool. To be fair, this kind of like spin off of one of the questions I asked before, but did you ever imagine yourself as a father? Or I think you asked a question like this, and like what scenarios do you? Yeah, you've already said that kind of thing. Yeah, that was one of my questions. See, this is what happens.
Speaking of the father, I just remember like Michael Cow, innit? And like bear the stuff that he used to do, yeah. I'm just thinking like, bro, I just can't wait to do these sorts of things. My children.
Oh my days, you know,
I can't wait to do these sorts of things.
I literally did that thing the other day.
Oh, so that.
Bro,
you know, so crazy though. When people talk about representation, they think it's a joke.
No, it's not a joke. Still.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
It's not a joke.
They think it's a joke. I remember like when the guy, I don't know his real name, but Philip Banks, like freshman.
Phil Banks.
I remember
James Avery.
James Avery. Yeah. Is it James Avery? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
James Avery.
I remember when he passed. Yeah, it was such like I remember seeing on Twitter like the shockwaves were like.
Yeah.
And I remember a lot of the comments were like, he was the first like black father that I saw that he was married, he had kids,
successful.
He was successful. He was a judge. He was rated. Like. It made a difference to them. To let me seeing that, oh, hold on, this is actually representation. It's not like man's in a apartment in the hood. Do you get me? And he's struggling to get by. And you know, like the story is that, you know, that I'm working hard to make sure my kids are all right. And the end of the story is that the kids love me anyway. It's like, no, that he's doing bits. And it's like, he was also a good father. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, and people,
that's key still.
Proper.
Even when you think about Michael Cow as well, he's got a trucking company and they live in like, they're also very successful. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. And it's key, it's very key. I think in hindsight is when you can look back at it and be like, oh right, you know what? That actually does make sense still. But yeah, definitely there's bare little things that, just bare having fun with your children and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But I can't wait to be like, yeah, come and bring me the keys or the remote or something like that. That's theirs. I can't wait, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say, other question is, did you have any misconceptions about fatherhood that has changed as you've grown older? And now what? Basically, what were they? And how do you feel like your understanding has evolved as well?
Probably the whole work thing, and like, you know, like how somebody can, or like you hear a lot about fathers who have done the thing whereby all they've done is work because that's what they think that they're supposed to do in terms of like providing, but then they haven't been there for their children. Do you get what I mean? And I think you hear a lot of people that are like very, very successful talk about how certain times like the repercussions of being like so peak in whatever it is that you're doing has a knock-on effect on your family, innit? And the relationships that you have within just relationships that you have in life in general, but also your immediate family, innit? Like how much time can you spend with your children?
Yeah.
Like how many things you have to miss out on. Like you miss out on graduations, you miss out on all of these things that really, really mean stuff. And ultimately you look at the titles, the accolades and the money and stuff like that. And obviously all of it is nice. But then to what end? Like at what cost, innit? So I think the whole work thing, get money, work thing. Obviously, yeah, do that, but balance as well, innit? So I think what's changed is more so being able to do both and be very much be as like, yeah, I want to do this in terms of the relationship side of things, innit? Being there in the smaller things and making sure that work and dreams and passion and all of this stuff doesn't take away from your actual like family unit. You know what I mean? Both don't, like, it doesn't suffer. Like you can do both. So yeah.
No, fairs.
That's it. Do you want to do one more? And then
Yeah.
It's kind of good still, man. We're having a bit of fun.
Huh?
I like this still.
But don't you? You like questions.
I do still.
You like questions.
So, were there? Oh no, that's so jarring. Because you've answered this already, actually. But I thought this was like my kind of like funny questions. Like, were there any fictional characters from books, TV shows, or movies that influenced your idea of what a
definitely
father should
Michael
be
Cowell still.
Yeah.
That's so funny as well. Terry Crews and Everybody Hates Chris.
Oh yeah,
that's a funny one as well.
For real.
That one is another funny one.
For real.
Hey, look, and it's so funny. I said the thing about Uncle Phil, yeah. But you also like, it was also important seeing Terry Crews, because it's also like, bro,
Julius.
Julius. It's also like, bro, calm down.
Yeah,
like, you don't need that.
30 cents worth of
you don't need
worth
to
of
do
gas.
Like, what was so funny is the episode where he was like, fam, close the fridge door, like basically like, fam, you're letting that bell to cold air, man. And it was actually just so fun. And you know, for your mind to think in that way, bro.
You know as well though, you know the whole hard working thing and how the wife was always like, oh, my man has 2 jobs. I don't need to do this because my man has 2 jobs. He was working 2 jobs because he had to. Because he had to pattern. You know what I mean? Obviously they made it funny and that, but when you look back at it, it's like, oh, raw, like it's actually like
I hear it still.
peak still. Okay. You hadn't heard that entire bro. You remember where that's from?
Yeah.
2 jokes still. 2 jokes. They don't say that's Drake. To Malibu's Most Wanted.
Oh no! Wait, what?
Not that it's actually him, but like, you know Malibu's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
So the way the you is, they're saying that he's Drake.
That is jokes.
That is Drake.
The Malibu's Most Wanted.
That was in the film.
Oh
yeah. What cool. All right. So what qualities do you think are essential for being a good father?
What qualities I think are essential? I think loving, I think caring, but away from the generic stuff, I think you say qualities.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a quality, maybe it's more of a skill, but being a visionary, I think is important because you kind of have to be able to see essentially what other people may not be able to see. Do you know what I mean? Or like have an unpopular opinion about something that everyone else might have a popular. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because you're thinking about the bigger picture. I think being able to, I think again, like, to not say the obvious ones, I think another thing is not being able to be numb. That's the wrong word, but being able to not let everything affect you. Do you get me? I feel like as a father, as a man, yeah, bro, there's so many things happening in life. And I feel like if you like digest every punch that you're hit with, yeah, bro,
bro,
you're gonna be down for a long time. Literally. So I feel like you have to be able to essentially take punches, fam. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And be able to, and again, it's an unpopular thing, but you got to be able to take it and keep moving. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I think probably as a third one, yeah, man, I think being loving is key. So,
okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, cool. What are some values or lessons that you hope to pass on to your children?
I think first and foremost that like Christ is the center of everything. Do you get me? Like I always say that if my children love Christ and walk in God, then I've completed. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
really,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
really, when all is said and done, that is the most important thing. Do you get me? So passing that on is something that is like that's my chief aim. But I think other things that I want to pass on is have like critically thinking. Like I would love to see my kids critically think. Like I would love to see them like really look at a situation.
You know, so funny story because you know what you said about how when you ask somebody a question about like their view on something, and that one question rattles them.
Yeah.
Like, I could imagine you getting so happy, like asking like your son or your daughter something, and then them being able to come back at you with like bare different,
bro,
like.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna keep because I love it. Like I love that.
Yeah.
I love that ability. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely something that I wanna pass on to them because that's something that I believe I do. So critically thinking, and I think also being like unapologetically themselves. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, be yourself. And watch how people gravitate to who you are. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're enough. Like, be not. And when I say you're enough, not you're enough in terms of you're a horrible person and is enough. Not like that. As in your pursuit of like greatness, in terms of character, in terms of the way you think. Like, be yourself. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And watch people gravitate to that. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. That one's kind of.
You need to ask a couple, then you can do your number.
Yeah, go you.
Alright, so what kind of relationship, do you hope to have with your children, and how does that compare to the current or the relationship you had with your dad? Or like when I say compare, like what's the similarities, what's the differences? You get?
So I think similarities is one of selflessness. Number one, I think with my dad, I think that's the biggest thing I saw growing up. If anything, there was a selflessness. Like my dad can do something. My dad can come home from work and he's brought food, and it's kind of like we're all like, oh yeah, like we're gonna have some, and it's kind of not enough to go around. Fam, my dad would be like, I'm not hungry. Like I ate at work. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's only when I got a bit older that you're actually lying.
Yeah, you say you're hungry.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? You're hungry. But your thing's just like, you don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? If like I need to do something, bro, like if I ever needed to take my dad's car, my dad would just like, I'll take train, I'll take bus. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's the only time he wouldn't do that is if he's getting my mum.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because my mum would just like, do you get me? If my dad, again, and I think it's the nature of men and women are different. Like my mum is very selfless as well, but just in different ways. Do you get me? So for example, my mum now, and I'm not talking about that, but if my mum says she's getting out, I'm like, I'll come pick you up. She's just gonna be like, yes. There's not gonna be a second thought. My dad will be like, no, don't waste your time. It's fine. Just stay at home. I'll make my way. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So my dad is very selfless still, in terms of helping people, and I think I want to be selfless to my kids and to my family as well, and almost be sacrificial. Do you get me, in the way that I move? So I think that's the similarity, and I guess I'll do two similarities, two differences. I think another similarity is probably fun. Like my dad's very fun. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, bro, like when I was growing up, wrestling on a Saturday, my dad would wake me up in the morning, we'll watch wrestling, we'd wrestle, then that's done, then it's football, and then we'll play, and then we're watching football. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Oh, my dad is fun. Do you get me? He's just a fun person kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even like my niece and nephews, bro, they like he's their favorite person because he's just bare fun. Do you get me?
No,
I remember one time, my dad went in, my niece and nephew, they got to my mum and dad's house, and my mum, when they came in, first she says, listen, I'm not granddad. So, don't try to jump on my head. Don't try to do that. She was like, look, I'm actually not him. But it's kind of, everyone knows that, fam. You get me? So I think that's two really good, that similarities I want to take. I guess two differences is, I think I'm going to like tell my kids I love them more.
Okay.
And my family, and have that kind of I love you connection a bit more, so that they like not only do they see it through my actions, but they hear me actually tell them, "No, I love you." Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because obviously, like again, my Zaf, like he just shows it.
Yeah,
He's never gonna really come to me and say, "I love you." Like, and even me, I find it a bit weird, if man. Like, do you get me? If he said that, but I think with my kids, I don't want it to be weird. Do you get what I'm trying to say? For me to say, "Oh, I love you," "Oh, you're looking nice now," "Oh, you're looking beautiful," to my daughter. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? Especially to my son, "I love you." To my daughter, I reckon it'll be a bit easier. To my son, I reckon even now I would have to like prop myself up. Do you get me? And maybe one day it will just become more natural. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I feel you.
I think that's one difference. I think another difference is probably have certain conversations just a bit earlier, just about life. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because I didn't have those conversations for a bit later.
Okay, fair enough. Any particular conversations?
I think definitely sex conversation. Like,
Okay.
I think when I say earlier, listen, like I don't know about these popular parents and stuff. I'm not talking about bare young. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? It's just at an age when I know that, like, do you get me? That these conversations are happening. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So like sex, I think also just about like relationships and how to relate with people, especially with my son, and just kind of give him the lowdown of, bro, like, I know right now things seem fun, but you don't want to have a trail of like broken hearts. You don't want to have there's a lot of issues that you are going to inherit and that you are going to give by messing around bare. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it might seem fun now, but trust me, in the long run, it can do it. Do you get me? Those kind of conversations and just laying down the real. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
No, I feel you.
With those things.
Well, fair enough. And again, I feel like I've asked questions like to Eman about basically like, what do you think fatherhood? Like, we've asked questions like, what do you think fatherhood would be like and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but being more specific, like, how do you envision balancing like work and family time as a father? And what has shaped that vision? So when you say like, "Ah, cool, this is how I want to balance it," or what's that based on?
Okay, cool. So how do I want to balance it, and what's it based on?
Yeah.
What's so funny is that I remember, I'll try to answer it quickly. In Bible study, one thing we've been looking at is Ecclesiastes, and obviously it talks about everything. There's a word that it talks about, hevel. So it says everything is hevel. Everything under the sun is hevel. That word hevel means like vapor. It's like vapor. So it's like, it's not, because I think people translate hevel to meaningless, but that's not the translation. It's not meaningless. It's just like vapor. So it's like it comes and it goes. Do you get me? It's nothing solid. And one of the things that is hevel, which is like vapor, is toil. So working, like just working until, do you get me? Like, you know, your like just work, boom, banging, stacking, grinding, like
to no end.
To you get me? And obviously the context of Ecclesiastes is under the sun, so it's talking like everything in this life. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And it's like, I was challenging myself to be like, it's very tempting to be like, you know what, I am gonna work very hard and spend bare time at work and invest so much time in hustles and grind so that there's bread to be able to travel, bread to be able to have fun, relaxation, boom, boom, boom. But it has to be weighed up against what's really important. And that is leading a family and trying to raise a family. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And so to answer your question about the balance, it has to be that, bro, because, bro, if you're working hard, you're investing in something, it's going to take your time. Like, let's be honest. Do you get me? But it's ensuring that I'm making time and balancing that and spending time with my family, that my kids don't say that dad's not present. Do you get what I'm trying to say? That shouldn't be something they say. I'm saying that now. Listen, I might get a job opportunity. It might make so much sense that man just has to quickly. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Look, so I'm just talking about the ideal. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I think I think I've answered both in one. Like, what shaped it is just
of course.
Bible and that.
Oh, fair enough.
How do you think, like, obviously we grew up in a different era, innit? Just in terms of like social media, technology and stuff like that. We kind of like grew up before and then through it. So how do you think like technology and social media and stuff like that will impact your parenting style?
I think I'm going to be a bit stricter with in terms of like just electronics and like in terms of phones, in terms of app that. Do you get me? Like there's too much. The like I could have a phone. I had a phone in year 6, but all I could do was text. Like even the internet. Like I remember when they just got internet on those phones, it was so mid.
Yeah,
Like you couldn't really do much. You get me? Whereas now the access
bro, the screens were like this big, fam.
yeah, it's insane, and it's green.
Yeah.
You get me? The screen is green. There's no color. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I think with my kids, I think the way it'll affect the way I bring them up is I would have to physically restrict their like proximity to phones, computers, laptops. And that's not to say they won't have them, but it would have to be under me and my wife's guys control. Do you get me? Like, like you're not just gonna, you can't oversight exactly that. Like you can't just have a laptop, like a computer in your room. You can't do that.
It's crazy because, bro, I'm always just thinking about like, because think about where it's at now, yeah. And obviously we're like in the AI type of, you know what I mean? It's still at the infancy sort of stage, innit? So think about like when our children are like 15, like what is gonna be the thing?
Even small things like those computer glasses now that they have, so normal shades.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like little things. So, for example, phones. You're trying to do something on your phone. Now it's downstairs, living room. Everyone is there. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Laptop. Yeah, have fun. Everyone is here. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Enjoy yourself. Do it, but it's here, innit? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So that's how I think I'm gonna have to move there. And again, it might make like other parents might be a bit more liberal, might make me look a bit old school or unpopular. But listen, that's fine. It's not my concern.
That unpopular thing is kind of part of it in a way. If you get what I mean.
Yeah. It's not my concern. Yeah. And I know you didn't ask this question, but you know one tradition, that I'm really keen on is family time and like everyone being in the living room.
Listen to this question. What are some specific traditions or practices from your childhood that you'd like to continue with your own children?
Bro, and that's exactly, in my house, growing up, it's like, no one it wasn't a thing whereby people came back from somewhere and went to their rooms and stayed there. It's like, everyone came to the living room and was there, but just doing their own thing. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, bare times, I'm not even hearing my parents' conversation because I got headphones on.
But you're all there.
But we're all there. I'm on my laptop, I'm on my phone. My sister's in the corner doing something. You get me? My mum and dad are there, but we're all there. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So much so that whenever someone spent the whole day in their room, it's either they were ill, they were mad tired, or there's something wrong. Do you get me? It was never that someone is just in their room the whole day. It was even just a norm to you get up, you like brush your teeth, whatever, and you come downstairs. Do you get me? And I therefore want my family to even go a step further with that and be like, let's have a bit of family time. What's going on? Do you get me? I know sometimes those things don't work because some kids are like, don't want to do it this way. Do you get that? Fair play, innit? But I want that whole, just the essence of that, like, fam, let's let the living room be a place to live with each other.
That's something that I've seen as well, actually, when I've like going like to sleep over back in the days, like all sleepovers and that. Going to, I remember like they used to have like dinner used to be a thing. So like Christmas time is there's different types of stuff there, bro. That was just dinner in the yard. And I always remember like you had to like I remember you had to finish your water before you had the juice. And that's just something that I just kind of like, I always just remember that. You just had to finish you weren't allowed the juice before you finished the water, innit?
So I won't try to do that one time. I have to finish you have to finish my chicken, the rice first before I drink. Because
bro, that stuff was torture. It doesn't make no sense.
Because my thing, but I hear it, if you put that drink in front of me, I'm just gonna finish the drink. But
implementing those things as well. That's something that I swear actually just came to mind when you said it.
I was gonna say, like what stories, did like, let's say your parents or grandparents or uncles and aunties, tell you about your dad that shaped your understanding of who he was, or
do you know what's so mad? And
fatherhood.
I won't go into it bare, because it's one of those. Do you get me? But I remember like, and something I didn't know. I remember talking to, I think it was my dad's cousin. Who was it? My dad's cousin or my mum. It was one of them, and they were telling me, they told me something about my dad that I never knew. And they were telling me basically my dad just like, when he was younger, I just saw some peak stuff. Do you get what I'm trying to say? He just saw some peak stuff growing up, but it's like he's never said, "Oh, like I saw anything peak." Do you get me? And naturally, fam, you grew up in Nigeria, bro.
Yeah.
Fam.
Listen,
Stick it like that.
You get to
Just
speak.
take it like that, innit? You get me? But it gave me a whole new understanding on the way my dad sees life.
Yeah.
You get me? My dad sees life as like a fam, just that. Even so much. So I remember on Christmas one time, yeah, me and my dad would chat. We were just sitting down there on Christmas, and I kind of just said, "Oh, you know what? We need to change the way we do Christmas, man." So I was like, "Yeah, that." And I was like, and we just started chatting. And me and my dad, what we agreed on is that in the morning, afternoon, you spend it with family. Then in the evening, everyone do their own thing. Like he'll call his brethren to the crib. Everyone calm, they enjoy themselves. You get me, chin wag, and then we just go. We do our thing with our friends. Because we all like fam. Well, fam, my sister was not having it. They start talking about her, but what about the kids? Bro, move. But basically, it's just the way my dad sees life.
Yeah.
Do you get me? It's like, okay, cool. Like, I get it. Do you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
But yeah, man.
Calm. Yeah.
Interesting, fun stuff, man. Do you want to start a pen?
Yeah. All right, cool. So what like words of advice would you give to somebody?
That's
a verse.
I didn't even hear it.
What words of advice would you give to somebody who is gonna be a father one day, or is like en route to fatherhood now, like their missus is pregnant? Like what words of advice would you give them?
Ooh, you see that's like a big journey, innit? Because obviously, if your missus is about to give birth, then there's advice just centered around birth, like the whole birth experience. You know what I mean? In terms of like how you present at the hospital, not being combative, but still being very sure and decisive in terms of the treatment of your spouse, innit? Obviously assuming that you got married before. Do you know what I mean? But I think so like there's obviously general advice around that we can go into at another time. I think in general, like general fatherhood, I think if you're approaching fatherhood, you need to understand your principles and understand why they are your principles. I think you need to also, if you don't have this kind of mentality already, like even when we're talking about selflessness, then I don't know how people develop selflessness. I don't know how people develop selflessness.
Because it's a core thing, innit?
Bro,
yeah,
actually, if you have to develop it, I think later on in life, it's
so
like,
harder.
It's like you're under the cosh.
Yeah.
And then I think just learning the ability to be able to have foresight as much as possible. So planning for the future, and again, just realizing that the buck stops with you. You get, and that is everything in terms of mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially. The buck stops with you. So, with that being said, everything you're doing now is training. You get, prepare yourself financially, prepare yourself emotionally, prepare yourself mentally, prepare yourself spiritually and physically to be able to cope. Not even cope, to be able to thrive. To be able to thrive as a father. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, because it's not again, it could be daunting for some, but again, do the research. I think practical advice here would be to do the research in terms of what a young child needs, what a baby requires, and all that kind of stuff. So you're fully aware. You're not there and you're a deer at headlights. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Instead of feeling like, oh, I've got a baby coming. All right, cool. What's the baby's needs? Like, if you don't know this, speak to people that are fathers. Do some research. There's so much things out on the internet. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And just get clued up. Get clued up on what your child may or may not need. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And then prepare yourself to provide those things essentially. And it might not be, you might not be the sole provider. You might, again, do this joint with your spouse or whatever it is. But yeah, I think in terms of practical advice, it would be to do some research rather than, I thought a lot of people sometimes find it a bit daunting, or they appear or present like they're happy and they're excited, but sometimes they have deep down fears of, like, what if I'm not able to, do you get what I'm trying to say? So the best thing you can do is get clued up on what you need to do, and then listen, do not be afraid to ask for help.
Mm.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? And that's more of a man thing, if anything.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Rather than just fatherhood. But don't be afraid to ask for help. Once you've found out, okay, cool, this is what this task requires, but I'm lacking in X, Y, and Z. Bro, like Bible says, if you're lacking wisdom, ask. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And you'll get it. Like your Father who's gracious in heaven will give it to you innit, generously. And it's like it's the same sort of thing. Like asking, like you'll receive an answer. Knocking the door will be open. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seeking, you'll find kind of vibe in it. Is the vibe that I'm going with. So seek knowledge, and ask the right questions, and then obviously knock on the doors, and the doors will open.
So I had like a similar question, but I won't ask it. But it was essentially that: what are 3 things you would say about fatherhood that people need to know? But I feel like you kind of mentioned some things.
Yeah, I think 3 things that I don't know if I've got 3, so I might just say 1 or 2 yet. But I think things that people need to know about fatherhood is just okay, selflessness we've spoken about already, so that's one. So let's just move that to one side. But I think in terms of fatherhood, I think it's, and again, it's not always just about your children. You get what I'm trying to say? So like, there's an aspect of fatherhood that's like, even how you interact with your children kind of like has an impact on how you interact with your spouse. You get what I'm trying to say? So for example, like even discipline, like let me tell you something. In terms of marriages and stuff like that, yeah, biggest arguments, again, people obviously quote irreconcilable differences or whatever it is, yeah, but it's like finances is like a big thing. And also obviously infidelity is a massive thing as well. But then treatment, like children are like another big, massive bone of contention in marriages and stuff like that. So when I say how you interact, so it's kind of like establishing not even a chain of command, but a way of, all right, cool, this is how we're going to communicate with the children. If someone, you know, the whole thing of like, this is like a simple example, but they've come and asked you for something because they've clocked that you're the parent that's
a bit more lenient
with them. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, all right, cool. Have you asked your dad?
Yeah,
Like,
bro. That was the go-to, my house.
Do you get
the go-to. Have you asked your dad?
Yeah, do you get what I'm trying to say? You know, it's gonna be a resounding no.
Fact, you know, it got to a point where it was like, go and ask your dad, and then they started to do go and ask your sister.
Oh, is it?
That actually tell you so much. In fact, it's like, go and ask your sister. And the fact that, as my sister, you're like giving pushback,
bro.
It was actually infuriating,
because you should absolutely get it.
You should actually understand. You get it.
That one is too funny.
But yeah,
that one is too funny. But yeah, just like having those conversations, yeah, about how you want to raise your children, essentially. You get what I'm trying to say? And realizing that, listen, like, cool, we're talking about fatherhood, but you're not alone. You get what I'm trying to say? You've got a partner there that's supposed to come along on this journey with you. And again, all of this that I'm talking about now is that within like a nuclear family setting. Do you get what I'm trying to say? When it comes to fatherhood outside of a nuclear setting, where you might have like the mother of your child is, let's say, difficult or whatever, or not forthcoming, then one thing I've learned more recently from people that are in that situation that like, I'm close to and all that kind of stuff, yeah, is mediation is key, like, and early on. And essentially kind of communicating up front a clear standard. You get what I'm trying to say? So as soon as that standard's not met, and again, this is like one of my biggest kind of things with fatherhood and obviously, yeah, fatherhood and manhood in general, yeah. It's like you got to be a man of your word sort of thing. And that's not to say that you shouldn't be flexible if the situation changes and stuff like that. But for example, if I say like, cool, this is the standard, this is what we're keeping up with. Once that's breached out of reason, so not within good reason, then, all right, cool. The consequences of that should be clear, basically, innit? So if you're a principled person and you say, all right, cool, this is how we're going to treat the children or whatever, or this is how we're going to handle, this is like, again, in that non-nuclear family situation, yeah, this is how we're going to handle who gets who at what time. As soon as someone breaches that, and it's because, like, you pissed them off, or cool, courts getting involved, mediation, we need to sort out this thing. Do you know what I mean? Straight away. Like, just don't let things go on for too long before you take the right steps to essentially make sure that you're in your child's life. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, but yeah, just be a man of your word sort of thing. And it doesn't necessarily mean in that situation, but in general, if you say something, follow through.
Facts.
Cool. How do you approach teaching your children important values and life lessons?
So it's the same way. The way I try to do it is the same way Jesus done it. So parables, so stories. Boy who cried wolf. You guys say, I just told my daughter that the other day, sort of thing. But then also just having conversations. I'll just be like, right, listen, do you know what? You don't do this because it makes this person feel like this, or X, Y, Z, and boom, boom, boom. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So just saying things in a relatable way, really, innit? And then just trying to break it down to a level that they understand. Do you get what I'm saying? Just keeping it very, very simple. Do you get? So yeah,
parable thing is key still.
Yes, very.
Yeah,
Parable thing is actually key still.
Examples is key as well, because it's like, alright, cool. So imagine if you did this and and this person did or did that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's kind of like.
And by the way,
they get it straight away.
I'll say this: it sounds easier than it is. I remember when I was trying to give my niece an example or something, I was just talking rubbish. I could actually hear myself trying to like explain it. Yeah, I was thinking, this girl does. The way I'm saying it, even me, I know it's crap. But because I'm trying to say it in such a
way that's relatable.
It's such a relatable way, but also a dumbed down way, but also still like impactful.
I don't ask me the other day about did Jesus actually die, like sort of thing, innit? And I was like, bruv, do you know what it is? The way you're asking me, I know that me telling you the truth in terms of, no, he died, but he rose again, like, and saying it like that. The point that you're getting at is that, bro, I thought God can't die. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's literally what you're getting at, sort of thing, innit? So I have to be kind of like, I was like, no, God, he rose again in 3 days, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, and not focus on that, he died, sort of thing. So like, almost kind of curtail her vim for that.
That's so funny.
Question and answer, but you got to be cognizant of that as well. And that's another thing as well. I think people miss sometimes. It's that sometimes they ask you questions with ulterior motives, and certain things. You got to be, it's fragile. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to be careful what you introduce at what point. Do you know what I mean?
If they'll go to school and be like, yeah, you know that.
Oh,
my daddy said,
bro.
Cool. So one question, 2 parts. But what do you enjoy the most about fatherhood, and what is one of the most challenging things about fatherhood?
So thing I enjoy the most is obviously their personalities growing. Seeing myself in my children and all that kind of stuff. So different parts of me that I feel like people don't even know exist, but I find it so funny because I know this is me. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's kind of like a hidden gem sort of thing, innit?
That's so funny still.
Bro, listen, there's certain things that like anyone looking at like my daughter doing this thing from the outside looking in, you kind of think she's kind of crazy, but it's so mad because it's just me. And I just get it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And like the same thing with my son as well, to be honest. Like there's certain parts like, and his was probably a bit more obvious, but like there's certain parts that are just like I know exactly what you're doing. Like I know exactly like I know like you can't articulate what's going on in your mind. You've just got like a bubble of excitement or whatever it is, and this is how you've let it out. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So things like that I really relish. Obviously seeing that and their personalities growing it. I think in terms of what was the second part, sorry?
And then what have you found
difficult,
challenging?
Okay, cool. So challenging is, for me, I'm very much like a black and white person. I'm very much like, or more recently in life, I've become very impatient in it, and it's kind of like sometimes you don't want to wait to teach a lesson. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's just managing patience in terms of like, alright, cool. I deal with a lot of people where it's like, do you know, we're all grown, and I've been dealing with, this is the thing, by the time you become a father, more time, you've spent a lot of time in adulthood, innit? Do you know what I mean? And because of that, and at work and all that kind of stuff in these professional settings, you're dealing with people that, listen, once you say something, capiche, like everyone understands. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So then sometimes it's kind of like, bro, like, but why would you put this thing there? Like, and I find myself asking them this like a lot of the time, and sometimes I have to kind of like reel it back and be like, listen, okay, cool. Rather than, but why would you do this sort of thing? And even though I do want to ask the why questions just to make them think, oh, right, like, was what I done wrong? And why did I do it? Why did I think it was okay? And all that kind of stuff. But then sometimes you can introduce that too early and then just make them start feeling like, oh, like they always get things wrong. Or, do you know what I mean? So I think it's just managing that sort of, not to say I'm not patient with them, but just managing my expectations a bit more in it, and really understanding that, right, listen, you're dealing with someone that's doing this thing for the first time. Trust me, some of the stuff I'm talking about, like you lot would, if you lot witnessed it, you can actually look at me to be like, right, like, is everything okay, sort of thing, innit? Like, just, bro, some crazy stuff, like just even carrying a plate, and holding the plate sideways, and it had like, I don't know, like some juice in it or something like that. So now you've left the troll like on the floor. Like, well, why are you holding it sideways? Because you've got your iPad in the other hand and you're like focused on this, that, and the other, and all that. Come on now. You know what I mean? So yeah, so little things like that, just managing that, temperament and patience.
Okay, cool. What are some things that you hope that your children remember about their childhood with you when they get older?
So I hope they just remember the stuff that like there's times where they laugh, you can tell that they're laughing from their stomach. You know what I mean? From their stomach. Like, bro, like you can tell like there's certain things that, you know what it is, like to be fair, like my daughter does it bearing it, but she does the whole like, oh, this is the best day ever.
Oh, is it?
You get what I'm trying to say?
So
but she does it a lot. Like, so obviously, like for example, the other day I took them to like dinosaurs in the park, innit?
Okay.
And like they had like small rides and all that kind of stuff, and then afterwards, like we sat down and had like a burger. They had some ice cream and all that kind of stuff. Like just things like that I would probably remember, not remember exactly where it was and all that kind of stuff. But I hope they just remember those kind of moments, sort of thing, innit? And like sometimes it's just like the little things that I feel like I want them to. I don't know if I necessarily want them to remember. Like the things where it's like they've had certain things that when they get older they'll realize a lot of people didn't have these things. Do you get? I don't really, to be fair, I don't really care about that if I'm being honest. I was just going to say it for saying its sake. But yeah, I think it's more the memories that we've had where they really had a good day and all that kind of stuff and they really enjoyed themselves or whatever it is. And just to remember how like man took up for them. You get that any lesson that I taught you, it may come across as harsh, but it was always fair. It was just firm and fair. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Firm and fair is that's my ideal in life. It's almost that it's such a great description.
It is.
Firm but fair. Like anywhere, by the way. Whether at home, whether at work, whether outside, whether in church. Firm but fair is a great description.
Yeah. That's really it.
I had a question. So obviously, you grew up with your dad for part of your life, and the other part you didn't. How do you think that affects the way you bring up your kids? If you think it does.
The thing is, like, so less about him being there for part and hey, listen, one thing anyone will tell you, I think, is that when you've had a certain childhood, where it's like broken homes or whatever it is, one thing that you are always cognizant of, like, or I'm cognizant of, is reaching a certain milestone where I'm still in my children's lives. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like at the full capacity of like a nuclear family, innit? So that's always like a, let's say, like a subconscious thought. So I don't want to act like that doesn't exist. But I think more time in terms of like the time that I spent where my dad was there, like obviously he's affing it and he's like very principled and traditioned and all that kind of stuff. So my sister's older than me, innit? So if I get £5, she must have, because she's 3 years older than me, she must have at least £8. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And listen, it's not even that it would be nice if she, or it's an ideal. Nah, it must happen. So if there's only £10 available, then cool, it's going 6-4. Do you know what I mean? Or it's going 7-3 or whatever it is. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like as close to that split as possible, innit? And I think in terms of like that, I can see how that's, especially where I've got like these like small, very small OCD tendencies. I can see how that's shaped, man. Making sure, for example, if I give my daughter food, even though my son's younger, I'm giving him the exact same amount, the exact same like fancies, like as long as he wants it. Obviously, I'm not gonna force nothing in it. But you know what I mean? Like if I give them a fruit, I'm trying to give them the same size fruit, for example. Like I don't want no one looking and thinking, right, like why they got a bigger, or why they got this, that, and the other, and all that kind of stuff in it. And obviously everything within reason, in it. Like on birthdays and stuff like that, I buy them both gifts because obviously at young, like you don't really understand like the whole. But at the same time, it's still like, bro, you're only getting a couple. Like it's not your birthday, so you're only getting a couple of little something. Do you know what I mean? Like, and when you start saying, "But that's not fair," like they did say, I was like, "Oh, it's not your birthday." But at the same time, it's still just to, like, there's gonna be times where it's lopsided, and you get what I'm trying to say. But more generally, it's just like, raw. Like, I want you lot to know that I love you lot equally, innit? And I want to treat you lot equally. And obviously, equal does not actually mean £10 there, £10 there. It might mean that, listen, this one needs £12, so they're gonna get the £12, and you might need something else. But at least that will be explained. You get what I'm trying to say? As long as you know that I got you regardless, then you get what I'm saying? That's the main point in it,
Yeah.
essentially. So yeah.
Okay, cool. But one more.
Yeah.
What are some like traditions? So you see how we were talking before about traditions and like wanting to implement things. So what are some things that you like have already done or like would like to do?
So we're very like I'm very organized with, especially during the weekdays, innit, in terms of like the kids and stuff like that. So obviously because there's work and all that kind of stuff as well, innit. So a lot of the time we have like a very, very clear schedule that we follow, bedtime routine, all that kind of stuff, innit. And I think one of the things that we always wanted to implement at bedtime was some form of interaction with us, not just go to bed and that's it done. So there was a point where like my missus sort of implemented this whole like reading books and that, and obviously I did it for as long as I could, but fam, it was like, nah, it's the end of the day, we're knackered. Like, reading the whole book and then praying and then going to bed and all that kind of stuff, innit? But traditions wise, it's like now everyone prays before we go to bed. So
that's nice,
to bed, everyone prays. Like even if you don't really know how to pray, you say what you know. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So you pray or whatever it is. That's the tradition I want to keep up. There's traditions I want to implement, but as soon as they realize what the tradition is as well, because that's another thing as well. Dependent on the age, you could do things and it just doesn't catch on. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Or it's not really a thing, or let's say it's harder to implement. Let's just say, innit, or more difficult to implement or whatever. So and that's things like going out for like family meals, like you know, like we said about like maybe like not even like every week sort of thing, innit, but at least once a month. All right, cool, we've got Nando's or we've got this place or we've got that place or whatever it is. So that one's up and coming sort of thing. But just in terms of one of the things that I want to implement as well, which again, it's just not at that stage just yet. So maybe when I pick them up, ask them how their day was and all that kind of stuff, but something more formal, not formal, but something more concerted in terms of, like, how's everything? Do you know what I mean? Like check-ins, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, and I want to kind of start it from young.
So it becomes normal, innit?
Like how's, and the thing is as well, bro, like, if I ask my daughter now, like, how's life, how's everything, sort of thing, I promise you she's gonna have stuff to say. Promise you she's gonna have stuff to say. If I ask my son, if actually, like, he will actually do the whole, like, bro, like, leave me alone. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, you get what I'm trying to say? But so I want to implement that as well, man, because I want them to know that, listen, from a young age, bro, ain't no secrets, man. Talk to me about anything. You get what I'm trying to say? So that's those are the some of the traditions I can think of right now, innit? And to be fair, with all my answers, by the way, I can't lie to you. There is everything I've said today. I feel like it's like 10%. I feel like there is so much more, but there's just not enough time to get into everything.
Of course,
you know what I mean? But yeah, happy to be approached and asked about certain things. If anyone's struggling or anyone's going into fatherhood and they're finding it daunting or anything like that, happy to obviously share from my experience or whatever it is. So.
My word.
Yeah, man.
Boy.
Happy Father's Day, man.
That's good, man. Happy Father's Day, man.
That was good, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
get me? It's good questions. Always good, man, to do these kind of things. Still,
no word.
So that made me think about a few things.
But listen, happy Father's Day to the fathers, them.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, man.
Happy Father's Day, man.
You get me?
Yeah, man. Every single time.
Yeah, man. Love.